I will.
Okay, but now I want your calls on whether you think, this one will rile you up as well, Prince William should say sorry to Prince Harry. According to the Mirror, the Duke of Sussex is apparently open to taking up a sort of temporary role within the royal family if the king asked him to do so, but he will only do it if he gets an apology from his brother. Now, it was reported at the weekend that Harry has been contacting former advisors about a possible return to the UK. We've since heard that he is not actually interested in moving back here, but would consider helping out the family, given the King and the Princess of Wales have had to step back for a little while due to health. What do you think? Should William just hold his breath and apologise?
Absolutely not, and he won't. Not as long as there's breath in his body, he won't do it. Harry has become the most ridiculous creature. He's the one who's contacted aides to come back into this country, and yet and the royal family don't want him back. But he's the one who's contacted people, and he's talking about conditions. He's making conditions for something the rest of the royal family don't want, and he's asking for.
Do you think they don't want it? Do you think the royal?
No, I think
the royal family could use Harry, couldn't they?
No. Why would we want him now? This is the guy. When he left 5 years ago, he asked for a half in, half out job, and that's exactly what he's asking for now. The Queen said loud and clearly back then, you couldn't be half in and half out. What he's saying now is he wants exactly the same thing. He wants to do some minor duties, but still have his life over in America. Okay. It's not going to work.
All right, sorry, Shay, we're going to have to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because I do want to hear from you right after. And we want to also hear what you at home have to say about this story as well. Should Prince William say sorry to Prince Harry? Jonathan on Facebook, we've got a few messages coming in here, says apologise for what exactly? Prince William didn't write a book or constantly give interviews about family matters. Well, do you agree with Jonathan and Carole? It would seem 0207 862 2222 is the number. We heard from Carole before the break. Shay, should William, I know you've been chomping at the bit ever since. Shay, does William have to apologise to Harry?
But firstly, I think it's really important to say there's so much speculation around what is going on. Do you know what I mean?
Everything.
And so you think they said this, they say that. And I'm always really intrigued by that. But it's 5 letters, isn't it? 1 word, sorry. And we've all got family members, whether we want to talk about them or not, that actually, even if they said sorry, it wouldn't make any difference.
What's Will's got to apologise for?
The individuals, no matter how much you love them or not, they're still family. And I think what this comes down for me, and I've said this many times that I've been here, Storm, and you know that fundamentally, Princess Diana is still in all of our hearts. She's in mine, for sure. And as a mother, I look at my daughter, she's an only child, but should I have another one, I'd want them at some point to bring that rift, to break the rift and to come together. And I think for all the nation, just to see 2 brothers. This isn't about the royal family, two brothers
so why
come together. That's the first point. But if I can make my second point...
No, but before you move on from your first point, well, it's not Will's that's got to make the apology. Harry's got to make the apology. He's the one that's trashed his family. He's the one that's trashed them as racist on the world stage.
My second point is going to be this. If we really are going to come up against 2 siblings and who should apologise and not, Prince William at some point is going to be the king of this country. Is he or is he not?
Yes.
We talk about the fact that the royal family over the decades, if not centuries, have set an example to how we should all be. So isn't this also about him perhaps putting ego aside and leading by example?
Okay, but
either as an older brother or soon to be king.
Come on, you've had a long say now. I want to come back to this.
Hold on, I've got a question. Is there any point in apologising when you're not apologising for anything in particular? You're just doing it to try and make amends. What do you think he should apologise for?
Firstly, we don't know what exactly Harry... Well, we know from his books, but we don't know what William may or may not want to apologise for.
You're speculating.
That's what I'm saying. That's the whole thing is around speculation.
Because what we have of what Harry said... no, come on, this is not fair. You're just being allowed to go on and
No, I'm not being allowed to go on. I'm genuinely saying that.
Let me tackle you on some of what you're saying.
Sometimes you lead by example. It's 5 letters.
Wills has got nothing to apologise for at all. He hasn't done it. And he will never apologise to Harry, even if he had done something.
Well, you don't know that.
Let me finish. You just had a big long say. Because Harry, it's not speculation that Harry trashed his wife, who is now very sick, and the idea that Wills should apologise to Harry now is nonsensical.
And that's the third point I want to make, just if we can. Well, you know, I've told you this off air. It's a vitally important point, is cancer affects so many people in so many different ways. In the immediate family, 2 members of the immediate family being affected by that.
Tell me something.
Sometimes that can you know, as devastating as it is, it can be life-defining. It can also be an opportunity to bring families together.
In which case,
I think a lot of people want to see that.
Why has Harry not seen his father since the diagnosis in February? He saw him for half an hour in February. He was in.
So he hasn't seen him, but he has.
Let me. I just said to you. No, you're just
very
talking.
limited time on this.
Okay, but
that's
it's not fair to not let me come back. So the bottom line is, he came to see him for half an hour in February when he was diagnosed. He was in this country in May. He didn't bother to go and see him.
I don't think his dad had time to see him at that time.
Oh, please, he did.
Well, no, that was what was said.
That's because Harry announced the day before he was coming. There was no time.
Okay.
The king had a.
There might be security.
But he could have come. He could have come back at any point since then and seen his father, and he hasn't.
Let's go to the phones. Broderick from London. What do you think about this? The panel are very passionate.
Yes.
Well, I've heard it, and I think they've solved it between themselves.
Oh, right, because I didn't hear a solution.
We haven't.
Enlighten us.
But I've got an older brother, and we always say sorry. 3 months down the line, we're back at each other's throats. Then we don't speak to each other for another 9 months.
That sounds miserable, Broderick. Why not just cut it out, don't apologise and never see them again?
Has your brother embarrassed you on the world stage? Has he ever branded you publicly as a racist? Has he ever insulted your wife?
No, Harry.
Because if he had done all of those things, you might not
actually. Come on,
let me say something.
You're talking over each other, and so I can't.
I was talking. She's talking.
It's happening in both ways.
Yes.
Broderick, thank you very much for your call. Catherine from Merseyside, what do you think? Who should apologise to who? Should William apologise to Harry? He is the older brother, isn't he?
No, I don't agree with you. I think Wills doesn't need to apologise to Harry. I think Harry's behaviour over the last couple of years has been disgusting. Wills has done nothing wrong. Harry is the one who ran away with his wife, Meghan. I don't think Wills should be saying anything to Harry, and certainly not saying sorry to him.
So, but hold on, as far as Harry's concerned, his brother physically assaulted him, called his wife names, and was leaking things to the press, or his press people were leaking things to the press. If those things are true, Catherine, maybe William does owe Harry an apology.
I think brothers do fight, and I think allegations do get made in families, but I think printing a book called The Spur, Harry didn't need to do that. We've now found out that him and Meghan have told a lot of lies that they needn't have said.
Like what?
No, I don't think. Well, first of all, they got married 4 days before they got married.
Okay, but that could have been a ceremony that was more important than Meghan. There's some technicalities where you can say something was a lie when it wasn't necessarily.
We don't know what lies have been told.
Exactly.
No, but listen, please let me make this point. The royal family have never come back to have a go at it. So we say that Wills assaulted Harry. We don't know what Harry's done to Wills because Wills has never said. He has not come out and spilled family secrets, and that's the bottom line here. In fact, Harry is very lucky the royal family didn't hit back. They never have. They turned the other cheek and looked the other way. The whole time he was trashing on them. Okay. So we don't know what he did to them.
Catherine, thank you very much for your call. Katie from Yorkshire, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, hello, good morning. I have to say, I do worry sometimes that I actually agree a lot with Carole.
Don't worry about that.
You're on the side right. Don't worry about it.
But the thing is, I'm not particularly a royalist, but Harry and Meghan, I think the behaviour towards our royal family has been appalling. I think they've taken all the best bits, the wedding, the tiaras, the money. Then she had no intentions of going around the crowd shaking hands with whoever. They went away. They didn't want anything to do with her. And then they come. Now he wants to come back. And I think all William has done is stuck by the family, stuck by his father, and been a pride.
So let me get this straight. Royal family. But the royal family definitely needs them. Without Harry, the firm is falling apart, and they know it. So what do you think? Should William finally admit he was wrong? Let me know in the comments.